We have people from all over here. We have filmmakers from Atlanta, Georgia. We have musicians from Estonia. We got skaters from the West Side. This is what I use for generative AI. This is my route. There's many different ways to go about it, but I found that this is the best way for me. And then also, no app is all encompassing. So if you're looking for the app that's going to do everything, it just doesn't exist. I would say Midjourney is my favorite right now, followed by Runway, but that's just for what I'm using. Why this matters, it's a huge opportunity, it's here to stay, and it is putting creative power back into the creative's hands if we learn how to use it and capitalize on that before other people do. So my pivot story, basically, I got into it in March, and I just started entering into festivals, which has now led to a lot of work for me in this space, which has been great. So I have not been in it for very long. I hope that's encouraging for others here. All skills that we all have are transferable to generative AI. So I feel like that's what a lot of people are nervous about right now, is that they're going to go out of business. But like any business in history, if you don't pivot with your business, it does go out of business. So I feel like whatever skill that you have, whether you're an actor, an editor, production designer, or director, all of these skills and all this knowledge is directly transferable to prompting. Passion is king. It's very technical. If you love it, you're gonna do great. Some people show up to a Gen Jam and they have a script, a movie script, and then they generate their first prompt and they're like, this sucks, so they don't wanna do it. It's still a very hard process, but you can make a movie out of it if you're passionate enough. And also learning with others is fun and vital, because not even the people that have made these tools fully know how to use these tools, which is kind of crazy. So these are the tools that I use that I'm gonna walk through today, if y'all wanna take a picture of it. But also I'll be walking through it. How come you're not taking a picture, Shane? You got it in your head already. Okay, so my process. We're gonna get right into it. So usually when I start a project, I go to Midjourney, sref.com, in order to get a style that I want to use for it. You can go that route. So this basically has a bunch of styles that are free to use for Midjourney, which is a text-to-image generator. So you can go this route for style. You can mix a couple of these styles. You can take some of these images, you can put it into chat, and you can ask chat, please describe this image for a text-to-image generator. It's going to give you a paragraph. You can take that paragraph, you can merge it with another paragraph, you can take things out, you can rewrite it. So that's kind of how you're developing a style. Another thing you can use are color codes. So if you really like, what's up, girl? If you really like, let's say, teal and oranges, then you can take those codes, and then every single time you're doing a prompt, you can add those in the end of the prompt, and that will keep a very consistent style, image to image. Do we have any questions yet?
Okay, good first. Chat, describe where it ends.
So it's really awesome to use different models to talk to each other. So let's say I found this picture and I really liked this picture. Then I could take a screenshot of that picture, put it into chat GPT, and ask it, describe this image for a text to image generator. So it will give me a couple of different options of the technical aspects that maybe if I had gone to an art school, I would be able to more technically bring those elements out. But this is like helping me speak to another machine. But maybe it says there's like a glossy finish on it, and I don't like that. So I would take that one out. And then maybe I also want to merge it with this style. If I want to merge those two styles, I'm taking the language and merging them. Any other questions so far? Yes.
Just do you said style.
Yeah, there's a lot of styles. So usually I go into a project knowing what I want the style to kind of look like. And because I'm consuming a lot of generative AI content, I know what styles are being most used, and I don't want to use those styles. So between those two things, I'll be like, I'm looking for this, maybe feeling through that. That's how I'm developing, honing into what I want. Any other questions so far? Cool. So after you have the style, then you go to Midjourney, and I would take my shot list that I've developed in either by hand myself or using chat, or what I do is a combination between the two. So I'll create a shot list for the optimal version of how I want my film to look. I know at this point some things are just really a pain to generate, and so even if I want that in my head, maybe I'll ask chat, please take this shot and regenerate it for a text to image generator. So it'll just change my language again. I'm using it as a tool to talk to each other, and then it will generate images. So this is for a music video I'm currently working on. So I was using Midjourney to generate an image, and then I took it, I edited it in Midjourney. So Midjourney is a text to image generator, or an image to now video generator. That's pretty new. What's up? Join us. Oh, someone else in the house. So the reason why I really like Midjourney right now is because it's the most all-encompassing. I like that I can take text to image to video. Video is fairly new for Midjourney, and it's great. I really like it a lot. You can see some of these generations in here, what's happening with them. So, and it's super easy. So it just says animate, and I animate it. There's a couple different tools that you can use. So I can extend it. I can make the video longer. It only generates 5 seconds. You can extend it to 10 seconds, 15, 20. It kind of starts getting weird at that number. Yeah, these are other things. These are characters I was working on for this project. I'm using the style reference. Basically, you write the shot that you want. That's a funny shot. So I was using this as a style reference. This is the sref. This is the code for that. I wanted it in the aspect ratio 16:9. This profile came with the sref. I have my stylization set to 0 so that there is a setting in Midjourney that the more you use Midjourney, the more it learns what your style preferences are. And you can turn that on and off with P. You can take a little test, actually. You go through about 90 images, and you tell it, it gives you 2 options. And you say, I like this one more. I like this one more. And then the computer learns what your taste is. And so, for the most part, I have my personalization set to off if I'm using the sref, or it's going to mix my personalization with the sref, which is good if you're working on a project by yourself, but if you're working on a project with other AI generators and they're using the sref for consistency, you all both need the sref off, or it's gonna give you different results, just slightly, but different enough to cause chaos. Yes?
That's how we just freestyle, bro.
Yes, that's what we looked at. So, yeah. So I found an sref, I liked it, I tweaked it. I was like, okay, this is what I want to use. Cool. Now I'm using this with every single thing I generate, and that will keep them consistent. Let me see what else about this. So it does both animation and live action. I was testing live action 2 days ago. So I don't know if you guys think this looks like me, but I didn't generate this image with Midjourney. I generated it with another app, but I was interested to see if this would, because I know Veo is king for live action right now. That's Google's text-to-video, text-to-image generator. But for this one, I was just curious what it would do for this. And this looks pretty good. The eyeballs kind of messed up in the beginning of it. And that's what the extension did. I was like, what's happening there? But that's not an image of me. That's generated. Okay, so the next tool, any other questions about Midjourney? Cool. Yeah? No. Cool. Okay, so Runway.
What's the maximum and export size on the Midjourney? Does it get about it 4K or 1080?
It's 1080.
So,
Yeah. So if you want something more than 1080, I would upscale using Topaz.
right, once you get it all built all, scaled all at once, and you do a shot by shot, then
If it is for myself, I do it all at once at the ends. If it is for a client who I am billing, then I do it every shot. It's just a lot more expensive.
sure, I get that. Okay. That makes it.
Any other questions? Yeah. So the style reference you can get from midjourneysref.com. And all you do, boop, 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 if I, oh. So this is the SRF code. So you just copy and paste that and you put it at the end of your Midjourney prompt. And then there's also another version of SRF. It's called like P something. But there's another, if you want to use that, then on Midjourney, you just go to your settings and SRF standard. I can't find it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so Runway. Oh, it logged me out. So Runway is another tool. I primarily use it for two cases that I found are the best, which is image to video generating and using a tool called Act 2, which if you're an actor in the room, like I know we got some actors here, this is really helpful and something that you all can use to capitalize on that. But we're going to talk about that in a second. Hedra is a tool that you can use for, if you're not using Act 2 in Runway, then using Hedra is a way to make your still image speak by feeding it lines, which is kind of crazy that it does that, because it also adds some acting in it as well. Like you could say like, you know, a grumpy old man or something, and then it will like kind of give some mannerisms, which is, I don't know how it even does that, but if you don't like the mannerisms, then I would go to Act 2, which is where you can be filmed yourself and then you can act the character out. It's not completely great, but it can get the facial expressions pretty spot on. The hand gestures and everything else, not there yet. And then 11 Labs is a free tool that you can use to generate audio. So you can write something, send it in there. You can also voice act. So I can speak and I can then have different inflections and then pick any single voice. So, you know, again, we're running back to the grandpa reference, but you know, you run into times that you're just like, shit, like I don't know anybody over the age of 70 and I have this project due. 11 Labs will get your back. Okay, cool. What time is it? Thank you. Okay, so now I'm gonna break down my process for something more specific, so this will make more sense. I'm gonna show part of a film that I worked on for a 48-hour film competition called Cinema Synthetica, which happens in Venice, and we were given a script written by Bernie Sue that was 3 pages, 3 teams, 9 people total, and we competed, and then this was shown at AI on the Lot. So again, it's not our script, but we did the rest of it.
The day that I die.
You promise?
What the hell are you doing here?
It's the beach. And I love a good party.
You love a good excuse to be at a specific place, at a specific time.
You still know me the best. I haven't seen you since...
Those were good times.
Okay, I think we've seen enough.
I'm going to love you.
Okay, so that was created in 48 hours. I feel like that's a good way to see like a benchmark of what's possible using generative AI. And this is how we did it. Oh, I forgot one more app. Kriya AI. You can use Kriya to create LoRa's, and LoRa's will help you with your character consistency. And we will dive more into that after the process for that film. Okay, so is everyone still here? What's a pulse check? We vibing? Still cool? Still excited about generative AI? Okay, cool. Because we're gonna get into it right now. So we started off being like, we have 2 characters. We want it to be whimsical. I was reading some books that I was like, I want it to be like magic. And so this is where we started. You saw the characters where we finished them. And basically that happens through all these iterations. Combining styles. We finally found like an SREF. Oh, I liked these, but the characters were saying some crazy stuff. So I was like, this is too cute. Okay, so we found this SREF. We started working with that. We're still iterating. You iterate until you find things. You're iterating. These are all the different things I was using. You can have an omni reference, which is I can put in myself in omni reference and then set it so that it will blend the character with my face. That works sometimes. I think Allura is a better use for it, so that's why I'm gonna explain that later. But I was really trying to make the character look like me in this one. It ended up not working, so we abandoned that. And then these ended up, we started generating hero images. So the hero image, so this was our hero image. So there were 2 other generators on the team. If we all used that hero image and put it into style, then it would plus SREF. So style category, there's a style category here. Add images, what was I using? So style reference, image prompt, this is for video, omni reference. This is where you put a person to try and make them look like this person. You don't have to fill any of these out either. Style reference, that's where we would put the hero image to kind of keep things all the same. Image prompt, if you like the, I would say, shape of the image. So if there's a certain scale of like a barn that you want it to follow, like the full barn, I would give it an image of a full barn and it would kind of replicate that. And then if you're doing a video, you can feed it a starting frame and then generate the actions for it. So yeah, but back to this, we're generating this. So again, does anybody remember what happens after you find your style? Then you create the shot list. Yes, Alyssa. Woo! Someone's paying attention. I'm just kidding. So you create the shot list and you go through and then you generate based on the shot list. So you just go through here and this is like the character basically that we decided on. We didn't have enough time to create a Laura for the character, so we were using it in the Omni reference. What that means is there are some iterations of the character that Midjourney will throw at you. So for example, her crown isn't the same in every shot, and her outfit kind of changes a little bit. But we were rolling with it, so this is me trying to fix that. But eventually I abandoned that, and then I just started generating all the shots. So my task was to generate all the shots of her, close-up shots of her hands. There are some things that Midjourney will and won't do. We were also using words such as misty beach, fantasy concept art, cinematic lighting, full figure, head to toe. So I was struggling here. I didn't know that if I'm describing a certain amount of things in the background, it will not give you a mid shot or a close-up shot. If I'm describing the beach, it's always going to show me the beach. It's always going to give me a full body image. So I have to take out beach in order for it to ignore that part of it. So then also you can force it by describing certain parts that you want to see. So I really needed a full body, and then it was only giving me like mid shot. So I started describing her shoes, and then all of a sudden it would give me a full body shot. So there's just some tweaks to go through it. So then, yeah, that's for a different project. Yeah, it was for a different project. So those were all the stills of her that I needed. What's the next part of the process? Once you have all the stills. And then you do runway. Yeah, Alyssa. Dang. Okay, so then we go into runway, and then we're doing image to video. But before you go into runway, I didn't mention this before, but you should look and see that all your shots belong in the same sequence together. If there are errors in them, for example, the animation style changes completely. Another character is added in the background. Different colors. You want to get that in your image process before you move on to videos at all, or else you're going to waste a lot of time and you're going to be sad. So check your process. So this is a good example of I was generating, this was an image. I was like, okay, what do I want my starting frame to be? That's what I'm thinking of for every single piece of action. So this is very time consuming with the generation time as well. I just worked on a project that it was a Pixar styled short film, and Pixar is a style we all know how the characters should move like, and so that's why it was really hard to get generative AI to give us that same look and feel. So every shot, no matter how long it was, let's say like 3 to 6 seconds, would take us at least an hour to make from start to finish individually. Through, if we needed to in-paint it, which is just editing parts of the image out, remaking the look of it, and then regenerating it, experimenting across runway and other models. There's just a lot that goes in the process. And this is one of the things that happened. So I said, woman is creating water flames with her hands. So I made it bias to what I wanted. By saying flames, it made it flames instead of water. So then, and I was confused. I was like, why isn't it doing that? So then I went into chat and I said, this is what I gave it. How do I get it to be water? And then it gave me this sentence. Woman is conjuring streams of water from her hands. Wow. So much better. That's what the shot list wanted. So then after that, we wanted the characters to talk. And so we went into Hedra for this. And this was a lot of experimentation because you can only make one character in a shot talk at the same time, at a time. It will make both characters talk. if you add 2 characters in the same shot. So if you want a 2-shot of people, which I've done, honestly don't yet until they make it better, but you would have to do some sort of mask and have one character here, mask them out, add another character here, generate them separately, and then stitch it together. It's just kind of, I don't recommend it. Or you could have something like this where they're both talking at the same time.
Let my people help your kingdom. If only you lend me your magic to guide them. Just a little. Just enough.
It's kind of scary. But then there's this, which like I'm pretty sure this one looked good.
I'm going to love you till the day that I die.
Isn't that crazy? It's like instantaneous. Yes, okay. Then we edited that together, and that's how we made that film. Are there any questions? Yeah.
Hard to is runway and this?
So we used Runway for anything that didn't have speaking parts. Okay. So all of the actions and stuff. Any other questions? Yeah.
Video, is there runway?
I think for different styles, there could be one better or the other, but also it's, right now I really like Midjourney because I trust it for images more than I trust Runway, and I can just take my image and generate a video right there. That's really nice. Convenience factor is there. So that's why I recommend Midjourney right now, even though I'm in Runway's creative program, and that means I have unlimited free generations, but the convenience factor is so strong that I'm going with Midjourney. And it's generating stuff that is already created, which I feel like makes it more seamless for how it's choosing to make things move. It kind of already knows that there's like a boy and a dog because it's embedded in it, whereas maybe Runway might be confused by that.
Is there any downside? We were talking about like finding it hard to make a medium shot, the beach not in it, beach in it. Is there any downside to going for Photoshop and making it generating something in the shaping in the Photoshop in that game? There's like being in the program. Is there any drawbacks to being in the program of coming back in, like grabbing Photoshop or like I just started if there's any downside to that?
So are you saying to use Photoshop's generative fill?
No, I'm saying like you have your Omni of the background. You have your character. We can't get the medium of the character. Well, take you both making it in Photoshop, bringing him down. Is there any downside to that?
That is actually a really great way to get different images at different proportions of your character. Especially using Photoshop's beta right now. There is a tool called Harmonize that is a game changer because, so Harmonize, basically you can bring, if I already had an image right here and I wanted to if I wanted to change this to a TV, and then I took an image that I generated in Midjourney of a TV and I threw that in here, and then I took the background off so it's just a TV, then I could click Harmonize in Photoshop Beta and it would change the lighting so that it would fit in the scene.
Same good.
Game changer.
But there's not leaving Midjourney to a level of post work out and bring it back in. There's no downside.
That is definitely part of the process. Okay. If you want to get what you want. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
The same vein, like I have to deal with like prompts, right? Any prompts that are like pretty low quality. You just like prompting a right an image back it wouldn't be like the cool thing, but it's pretty low quality. Good. I don't know. I think then to deal with that well.
Using it as an image reference,
Yeah.
I would use high quality images because otherwise it will make it low quality. Yeah, it's pretty literal for what it gives you. Any other questions? Okay, cool. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, what's this? Oh, so we're going to talk about character consistency. This is the hardest thing in Gen AI right now, is keeping consistent characters. Raise your hand if you've struggled with that. Yeah, it's it's nightmare fuel, honestly, and this is why people aren't just like popping out with features all the time. But here's the solution right here. I'm going to tell you the secret. So, has anybody heard of Krea AI here? So, has anybody, raise your hand if you've heard of Allura. Hey, cool. So, LoRa's are how you maintain consistency, I've already said it, of a character. Okay, so we're going to do that right now. We're going to open up Krea, another app that I introduced briefly before. And so you're going to go to train, which is down here. There's a lot of other stuff. It can get scary, but just go right there. You're going to open it up. So these are all the LoRa's that I've made so far, even of an ostrich. This is the Pixar kind of like inspired film that I worked on. It really helped us maintain the character consistency between these guys. And then this is one I made of myself when I was very tired, and I was hoping it wouldn't make me look tired, but it still did. Again, it's very literal. So all you have to do in order to make a LoRa is you need, I think, 29, so that's 29. You need a bunch of images of whatever your character is. So you can do that in a couple of different ways. For myself, we just took a bunch of images of me, like literally against a white backdrop. If you have an animated image, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to bring it into an app called Topaz, and you are going to want to take a orbital camera shot in 120 around your character, and then you're going to take all of those frames and use that in the same way of like taking a regular bunch of pictures of yourself. So let's play around with mine. Someone say an occupation.
Better.
Okay. Julia is a vet, and she lives on the beach out of a van. Sounds like a good life, right? All right, so that's my lore right there. I'm going to generate it. Okay, so it skipped the beach part. It tried the beach right here. It's kind of scary, though. So Krea is one of the fastest generations. Notice how I haven't been generating because I didn't want you all to be sitting through a generation process. But so that one's like almost there. We can try varying that one. You can also change how intense the LoRa style is. So by bringing down the LoRa style, it then incorporated other things in the image. So, that's definitely not me, right? Right?
What then?
I don't know, it's kind of, looks like, no. So yeah, so how we worked on, so this is how I generated the spec yesterday. got that image. The upscale was kind of scary though, so I skipped that. I went to the regular version of it. But yeah, all of these images from that film we made in Korea by using the LoRa's. This is how we had all these poor guys. They stole feathers from an ostrich farm, and they got their asses handed to them by the ostriches. So these are all images of these guys being beaten up by ostriches. Yeah, so that's how you keep consistent characters. Any questions? Yeah.
What does the lore look like with them supported? Is it like a script, or is it or is it just a?
It's a link you can use in Korea.
So just copy, paste something.
Yeah, so you would so I would take my Laura from here. Models, visibility, ostrich, train to Laura. And I would, so it's published already? Unpublished, yeah. So create a link to share style with other Korea users. So only in Korea. There are other apps that you can use, you can create Lauras with, but I think they're all like, we only want to be used here. So if you're using a Laura and you want to use a style for Midjourney, then you would generate with Flux images, which is inside Korea. So just an image generator. I'm using the model Flux. And then you can add 5 style images.
You pick those from here.
Yeah. So, and then that's how you more or less keep and maintain a style. If you want to use a Laura. If you want to use Midjourney, you would need to use an Omni reference. But an Omni reference can change. Unless you create it inside of Midjourney. If you create a character inside Midjourney, it's more likely to keep that Omni reference the same.
Gotcha.
Cool. Any other questions? Yeah.
The blood so bad. Why did it be?
Yeah, so it's you ask for a 360 or 180 orbital shot around your character. So that's essentially the same thing as if someone took 20 pictures around me. You're just giving yourself the tools, and then you would take screen grabs around that character.
This one is bad. You got any bad?
Because you can upscale it in Topaz. So you're getting higher resolution. Any other questions? No? Okay. We will keep going. Oh, so that was basically that. Case in point, just the beginning of that. Oops, it's gone. I don't know how to pause it. Oh, you can pause it right there. So, yeah, you already saw that. Okay, this is for acting. Raise your hand if you're an actor out here. Actor, actresses, got 2 in the building. Ow, I wrote this one, thinking of y'all in mind. I looked at the people attending, I was like, what can I chef up here? So, yeah, we're gonna check out Runway Act 2. Some tips and tricks is you have to stay in the same position as your character. I'll show you what that means in a second. And you can't really turn your head or move your arms. Yet. Runway. So, what I mean by that, this is also for the shorts, this was so funny to do because we realized in this process that our cartoon character here, his eyes are very large. So the best way to keep consistency is if our actor right there kept his eyes like this anytime he was doing anything, or else it wouldn't read. But yeah, I'm going to play them at the same time so you can see the magic.
500, 500. Why? 500, 500. Why? 500, 500.
It's kind of nightmare fuel. But yeah, isn't that cool? Do you have any questions? Yeah.
It does it for like animated and
You can do it for any character you want. It would probably work a lot better with live action. Yeah, because the more abstract our characters were, the less consistency we had. Like the ostrich, it rejected it. Yes.
How well is it with bush captured? Like how
If you are standing in front of a semi-clear background with good lighting on your face, it can capture your facial expressions pretty spot on. Yeah, everything else kind of, you can do some sort of hand gestures, but for example here,
it depends on it, or have someone running on a treadmill and spikes, you want to run and see.
I don't think it would make a character run. It just, unless, so the key moment is the closer we had these two shots look, the more it would be able to follow it throughout the rest of it. That was subtle hand movements. And I'm talking like, we redid this part so many times. He is holding, I don't know what. His eyes, he starts them off so wide. And then, so he would start out like this, and then he would start the action going down. But the only action we really wanted from this is him pulling that up. But even this, our character looked like this before. Look what it did to his arm.
Birdie, birdie, birdie.
So sorry, it's terrifying. Look what it did to his arm. So it kind of meshed them together. Yeah. Any other questions? No? Cool. So actors, you should capitalize on that. It's huge because if you use it, there was actually somebody that won a huge competition back in April, one of Runway's biggest competitions, because they were an actor and they just capitalized on that skill set of theirs, but they had never touched generative AI before that. But they took it from everyone because they were just like, they knew how to act and they knew how to use it and they were willing to sit with it and work with it, you know, late into the night. Okay. So now I'm just going to go through a couple of other uses for AI that I think are helpful and you guys could use. So previs or animatics, that's something that you can create to get everybody on your team on the same page and or get something approved, push it down the pipeline. So Jason Momoa has a vodka company called Melly Vodka, and they hired like 10 Gen AI artists for a day to generate some of their concepts for their company. And then they took those concepts and they fed them into digital audiences, which are online audiences pulled from all of our online likes and dislikes, so they can see what are going to perform better than others, and then whichever performs the best, they would know to then invest money into creating an ad. So it's a pretty powerful tool. This is the one that me and my teammate made.
You're so funny.
Welcome back from our break.
Oh,
We missed you. We were
also-
switching gears a little.
Oh shit. The buffalo is supposed to be Jason Momoa's friends that co-founded the company with
back from our
him,
break.
and then the unicorn is Jason Momoa. They wanted this.
We missed you. We were switching gears a little and now wanted to call on our audience to see their opinion.
We have a good thing going.
That's Grey Goose.
We made it with real water. Real glacier water. Ooh.
Well, Goose, I can't speak for the rest of us, but I personally don't like ingesting nail polish or urine.
I actually enjoy my life.
Jason Momoa.
Drinking grapes makes me hate my life, quite frankly. I personally
That's
serve
Putin.
my political enemies. Trash for trash, eh?
So we were able to quickly make that concept for their team to test it and for them to be like, that was a good idea, or maybe we shouldn't invest in that. So something else, an animatic, creating that to keep everybody on the same page. There was a music video that I did that there were 25 people on the team, and this is my first time using an animatic, but using the animatic, we made a product that almost looked exactly like it, which is kind of crazy when you're in charge of 25 people, and I had never been in charge of 25 people like that in a creative project ever, and so I attribute all of it to having something like this made, and here's kind of an example of that.
Flying in so each one always at the quarter, yeah. Hey, you are not mad at me. Keep on going till you hit the spot. Whoa.
Like, look how similar those shots look. That means everybody on the team took that, knew their job, and just matched it to be like that. Oh, couldn't find a reference for that, so I had to do it myself. Okay, cool. So, bonus tips and tricks. We're coming to the end. So yeah, like I already mentioned, using the beta version of Photoshop to use Harmonize is a great way to get different things in the same scene and get the lighting to match. Because if you're just copying and pasting and removing the background of something and then putting it into a scene, it's not gonna match the lighting, right? It needs to like belong, like the same light sources, but Harmonize will find the light sources in the picture and match them. Crazy. Like we have talked about before, use chat to describe an image and then apply it to another image. So say, chat, what's going on here? Please help me. Deep View is, if you really want some AI news, I feel like it's the best. It gets emailed every day to you. And then Machine Cinema is this great organization that I have learned most of generative AI knowledge from, not just the actual org, but through all the people that I've met in the org. So it's free to join. It's a community here. Our next event is September 7th, and we'll be generating music videos, and you could win a cash prize of $1,000 if you win. It's gonna be a good time. I'll be there. Okay, so we're gonna learn how to generate right now. We're gonna generate with what we have left. So you can generate in chat. This is a free tool. If you haven't logged into chat before, we can do it now. So I thought it would be a cool exercise to just kind of get creativity flowing, maybe inspire you to use this after, is to ask chat, please generate an image of whatever you want. You're gonna see how long it takes to generate. It's not quick. You're gonna find an sref, and then you're gonna ask chat to describe the style. You're gonna make adjustments, you're gonna add what you like, what you don't like, you're gonna steal like an artist, right? You're gonna mesh a bunch of different concepts together so that we're still creating, we're still learning, we're using our brains. And then you're going to ask chat to generate the image of this and the style of that. And you're going to generate in that style. Cool. Are you guys feeling who has a computer they can use? Yeah? Cool. Should I do the final? How about I'll finish this out, then we can go into the activity. Yeah? Cool. So my final remarks. Find a problem and see how it can be solved with generative AI or AI in general. This is a really powerful time. We have pretty much all the tools, with generative AI. It can be overwhelming, but we don't all have to solve all the world's problems, but we all have unique abilities and experiences that can help illuminate what we want to combat, and you should go after that thing. If it's important to you, it's probably important to other people, and you'll be doing something good, fulfilled in doing it. Yeah, don't let it freak you out. It can be overwhelming. Be a part of the conversation, lean into it, participate. I feel like the more that we're participating and using technology, the more that we get to stay in the loop of it, keep a human touch on it, touch grass. Just felt like I should say that. Okay, any questions? Thank you all so much for coming out, supporting this event, supporting the Honeys, supporting Sure LA, and yeah, thank you so much. Yay!